I think most of us can agree that Marvel TV is kind of a mixed bag. You get good shows like Loki and X-Men 97, and then you get boring ass shit like Falcon and Winter Soldier and Secret Invasion. And the one that started it all off for Marvel Studios was 2021's Wandavision, which actually started out pretty good, but then got worse and worse as it went on, leading to a fairly underwhelming finale. So when Marvel said we're gonna do a spin-off show focusing on the villain of WandaVision, I gave it a hard pass. There was nothing that interested me about this show, but it was Halloween and I figured, why not give it a shot? So I sat down to watch it and it's honestly really good. I get it. Yeah, I did not expect that. The show centered around a character I don't care about as a sequel to a show that disappointed me 3 years ago from a studio that's seen better days is actually fun to watch. But what makes the show interesting to me is how similar it is to WandaVision. Like, it has similar themes and motifs to it, but it also does them incredibly better than what WandaVision did. So for this video, I want to discuss what exactly makes Agatha All Along a superior show to WandaVision. Also, spoilers ahead, just a warning.
You see the difference between you and me? So you did this on purpose.
While WandaVision has two titular characters, Wanda and Vision, I would argue that Wanda is the main character of that show, and Agatha All Along follows Agatha. Now at first you'd think, well, you can't really compare these two, they're completely different characters. And no, I don't think they are. They're both powerful witches who have tragic family drama, they've both lost people they care about, and that loss has driven them to do horrible things as a result. They're not really that different, but between the two of them, I gotta say, Agatha is the better character here. And yeah, out of the two, she definitely is the more evil and less sympathetic character, but at least the script is willing to admit that. Unlike with Wanda, WandaVision is centered around the mystery of what's going on with the town of Westview, and how is Wanda Maximoff connected to it. And as the show goes on, it's revealed that Wanda is the one behind all of it. She's the one controlling the town, brainwashing and mentally torturing its citizens to play along in this ideal family scenario that she's created. It's a shocking reveal to find out that this character that we followed for years has become the villain of the story. Except the show doesn't really commit to that. It does a lot to try and justify Wanda's actions to the point of it becoming a comedy. This woman is literally holding people hostage, but characters that we're meant to root for constantly try to defend her.
She's holding thousands of people hostage.
And it could have been thousands more if she hadn't put up her own quarantine. What?
Come to think of it, this isn't the only time Monica does this. Remember in the Marvels when Captain Marvel told her she condemned an entire planet to a slow and painful death, and her reaction was, "Oh, babes, what is it with you?" And the characters that actually want to call her out for her actions either change their opinions towards the end or are villainized. Oh, this guy wants to stop Wanda and save Westview, but now he's shooting at kids? What? And the most frustrating part is that this show had an out. It was heavily implied that Agatha had been manipulating Wanda from the very beginning. This would have made Wanda's dilemma between freeing the town and keeping her family more impactful, would have made her victory over Agatha more satisfying, and would have made her sacrifice more emotional. But no, it wasn't Agatha all along, it was all Wanda's doing. This isn't a sacrifice, she's not saving anyone, it's just her no longer party rocking, which makes all of the things I spoke about kinda hollow. You don't get to terrorize a town of innocent people and still have your girl boss moment. Either make her a villain or take the out. Don't half-ass both. At least Multiverse of Madness had the balls to make her a villain. Contrast this with Agatha in her show. And yeah, Agatha does some horrible things in Agatha All Along. She manipulates people, uses them as pawns, and doesn't really care what happens to them along the way. But the show, thankfully, doesn't try and justify this behavior in any way. We understand why she is the way she is, how people like her mum and her son influenced her personality, but it doesn't excuse Agatha's wickedness. All the witches in the coven constantly call her out for her bullshit, but but it does flesh it out more, and in turn, this makes her selfless acts all the more interesting. Her relationship with Billy is meaningful now that we know about her relationship with her son. Her relationship with other witches is interesting now that we understand how much her original coven hated her and why she hates witches overall. All of Agatha's actions and motivations work within the context of the show and make her character interesting and morally complex, while Wanda's are all over the shop and are actually morally confusing.
Yeah, I'm not sure what that's about.
So you could say, I really like Agatha's character because she at least subscribes to being a villain. Okay, moving on.
You know, we really kind of hated each other in the beginning, but now...
But now...
Huh?
While Agatha's character is written rather well, I'd say it's backed up by a very strong supporting cast. Each witch in the coven is given proper motivation, backstory, and personality, and each one gets a moment to shine in the show. One episode focuses mostly on Lilia, a witch who perceives time differently to everyone else and usually experiences events out of order, and it's honestly one of the best episodes of Marvel television I've ever seen. We get to see how she views the world and how she views herself. Every little moment in the show before this where Lilia bursts out with a random crazy line is given proper context. Her history with her family allows us to see why she locks herself away from other people. We see her accept the fate that she's been running away from since she was a child. She embraces who she is and what she needs to do to help her new friends. It's a great episode that uses the concept of misplaced time to properly dive into a character and really get us to care about her, which in turn makes her sacrifice all the more impactful. And it's not just Lilia. Like I said, every character gets a moment to shine. Like Alice finally coming to terms with her mum's disappearance and breaking her family's curse. Or Jennifer accepting that she's not a fraud and actually has value. And while most of them die, I'd argue that they all get a satisfying conclusion to their stories. Except for Kitty Foreman, that was just sad. Kitty! But in Wandavision, the supporting characters kinda suck. Vision is kind of interesting as he tries to solve the mystery of what's going on with Westview, and I did like his philosophical debate with White Vision in the finale, but even he falls into the trap of supporting the true villain of the story. And as for the other supporting characters, they're just not fun to watch. We've got Monica, war crimes are okay so long as you slay Rambo, and her team of quirky comedy relief characters from previous Marvel movies. I'm sorry, but I didn't care at all about Jimmy Woo in Ant-Man and the Wasp, and I had no reason to care about him in WandaVision. Darcy was arguably the most annoying character in the Thor movies, and again, I'm not given any further reason to care about her here. All these two do is make jokes and tell the villain that he's wrong. And there's nothing wrong with a bit of comedy relief, but these characters don't really do enough in the story for me to really care about them. Monica at least does stuff, but I'm still confused as to why she's always in Wanda's corner. She was under Wanda's spell, and she knows the pain that the town is going through. If anything, she should be the one wanting to take her down. But no, these characters at worst add to the messy morality of the show, or at best act as an annoying cutaway from the overall story and mystery, which brings me on to my next point. Magic and mystery blend really well together. Just look at the Harry Potter movies. The majority of those movies have a mystery in them, and these shows have mystery plot lines that are slowly revealed as they go on. But what makes a good mystery plot is payoff, and one of these shows definitely does pay off better than the other. In WandaVision, we do have some intriguing mysteries like what's going on with the Hex? Is Wanda being manipulated or is it all her? And if so, who's pulling the strings? How is Vision back after dying? Is that really him? How is her brother back after dying a few movies back? And why is he played by the guy who played him in the X-Men movies? The show poses all of these questions and almost none of them get a decent payoff. Agnes turns out to be Agatha Harkness and is manipulating Wanda, but not really. X-Men Quicksilver turns out to be a dick joke.
Ralph Boner?
Boner.
I think the Vision twist is okay. The payoff to that was fairly satisfying, although it's been 3 years since we last saw him. Where are you? I think the show doesn't do a good job with payoff. The resolutions don't really impact the story in any meaningful way, and it really makes the finale feel kind of flat. Now in Agatha All Along, every mystery has a satisfying payoff to it. The Billy Maximoff reveal is actually really good. There's a red herring where you think he might be Agatha's son, but no, it turns out he's Billy, who's possessed a dead body right after dying in Wandavision, and is on the witch's road to try and find his brother Tommy. Okay, cool, that works for me. That adds to this story. It doesn't stop it dead. Speaking of, Rio being revealed as Lady Death and Agatha's ex is also a really good reveal. It sets her up as an antagonist to the whole group who are in constant peril, and more specifically for Billy, who kinda cheated Death and now she's come to collect what is owed. And knowing the context of how Rio came for Agatha's son and took him from her really makes the audience understand exactly why Agatha is the way she is, why she hates Rio so much, and why she's protective of Billy, who reminds her of her son. She won't lose someone else she cares about to Rio, and it really makes her sacrifice at the end even more impactful. And yeah, I know she comes back and says it wasn't for Billy, but come on, that's bullshit. And speaking of the finale, there is a really good twist at the end. And what's a good mystery without an unexpected twist? It turns out that the road was never real. This legend that witches have spoken about for hundreds of years is revealed to be a centuries-old con that Agatha has peddled to lure witches in and drain them of their powers. We even see how Agatha does it, and it's what she tries to do at the end of the second episode. But this time, the road actually appears. It turns out Billy unintentionally created the road with the same reality warping abilities that Wanda had, and it completely recontextualizes Agatha's whole story from a journey of learning to put her faith in others to a trap gone wrong, and now she's just here for the ride. She's now trying to figure out exactly how the road came into being. This is a brilliant twist that I actually had a bit of fun rewatching as I made this video. All of these twists reveal things about the characters and help progress the story instead of not really going anywhere or just being disappointing jokes. Overall, I think Agatha All Along takes elements from Wandavision and improves on them a lot. I know it's not a perfect show, there were some issues with it. I would have restructured the last 2 episodes. They were good, but episode 8 felt like a proper finale, and episode 9 just felt like a really long post-credit scene. Apart from that, I think Agatha All Along is a much better show than Wandavision. If you like both of these shows, then that's fair, you can like what you like. But personally, I was disappointed with WandaVision, and I'm very happy to say that this sequel show does a lot to make up for that. Hey everyone, thank you for watching, I hope you enjoyed the video. Let me know what you thought of Agatha All Along or WandaVision in the comments below, and if you enjoyed this video, please give it a like and subscribe if you want further content. Have a good day.